Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Hope you guys are having a good Monday morning. I feel like everybody is just sitting back waiting on news about Lance Hurd. We've been waiting for quite a while at this point. I know a lot of you guys are frustrated. A lot of you guys are in the comments saying, Boogie, it's a bidding war. It's Ole Miss. It's this. It's that. I don't believe any of that to be true. If you want to know what's going on with Lance Hurd, I made a video yesterday breaking down the entire timeline, where he is at. Should we expect a decision soon? I don't know. We're going to find out. We continue to wait. I do think he's a Vol. I do think he's in the boat, and I do think he is a huge addition for Josh Heupel heading into 2024 at a position of need, offensive tackle. I was scrolling through VolQuest looking back at some of the transfer portal news. Saw a pretty good article from Kaner back at the beginning before everybody entered the portal, before any of the roster movement really started. Eric put out an article that said Tennessee's top 5 transfer portal needs. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to grade how Josh Heupel and this coaching staff has done thus far. Look, we still got a ways to go, right? A lot of talent still entering the portal from Washington, from Alabama. There's going to be other targets out there. I think there's going to be some other movement. Also, Tennessee has a visitor that is going to be on campus this weekend for a possible another addition via the transfer portal. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about it. But as always, I need you guys to do me a favor, man. Smash that thumbs up just below this video. It is quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you. We don't pretend to be any of that. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. We are a community, a giant community right here on YouTube of Tennessee fans. So if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Going to be live tomorrow night like I am every single Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to play some NCAA football, but we're also going to talk all things Tennessee football. Also in the works, got another player interview hopefully coming up soon. More details on that coming up. Just make sure you're dialed in for that. Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk about the transfer portal, and let's talk about Kaner's article. His top 5 transfer portal needs going into December were tight end, offensive tackle, wide receiver, defensive line, and also defensive back. And that article, it came out prior to the 7 defensive backs entering the transfer portal. But let's break it down at the top. Let's start from the beginning. He said the biggest need to add in the portal was the tight end position. And I've seen some people kind of talking about after the addition of the kid from Alabama, why are we adding another tight end? Why do we need another tight end? Well, if you really look at the room going into the offseason, it was Ethan Davis. That was pretty much it. That was all you had. Jacob Warren, McCallum Castles, both out of eligibility. And, yeah, we can talk about Emmanuel Okoye. That's a young freshman tight end, the kid from Nigeria. Crazy story how he ended up at the NFL Academy in the UK. Just an interesting story, but a guy that's not played a lot of football. He's very raw. He's very athletic. I don't expect him to contribute anytime soon, but I'm excited about his future. So who else is there behind Ethan Davis? You're going to go with Charlie Browder? You're going to go with Hunter Selman? Well, you went to the transfer portal and you added the top tight end available. That is Holden Stace from Notre Dame. I'm excited about what he can do. I think he's going to be a huge asset in the run game. Ethan Davis himself coming back, I'm excited about his pass-catching ability. He's a weapon. I think he is a weapon. But look, it's college football. It's physical. It's violent. You got to add depth, and that's what Tennessee did right here with Miles Kitselman from Alabama, 6'5", 250. You guys already know the story. Not a whole lot of production there. Only had a couple of catches this past year at Alabama. But again, he gives you depth, and he doesn't really, run Ethan Davis off. You go out and you add another guy, a top guy like Holden Stace. So say you add 2 guys like that. Maybe Ethan Davis heads into spring camp and he's like, you know what? I see the writing on the wall. I'm out. I'm entering the transfer portal. It is a fine line. We talk about roster management and what Josh Heupel has to do with this football team, and there's so many different levels and layers to that. So how would you grade Josh Heupel? How would you grade Alec Ablin on how they've added talent in the tight end room? Holden Stace and also the kid from Alabama. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I think they did a job well done. So we'll put a check beside the number 1 need tight end. I think you took care of that. Offensive tackle, biggest position of need. Maybe, maybe not. You got Gerald Mincey entering the portal off to Kentucky. Other than that, you got to look at this offensive line. You got to look at what's coming back in 2024. And again, we're talking about the portal, but I think you got to lump it all in together. You got Cooper Mays coming back. You got Spraggs coming back. You got John Campbell coming back. All those guys could be off to the NFL, but instead they're coming back for 2024, and I think that's huge. So the big question mark, the guy that we've been waiting on for over a week now, is Lance Hurd. I think he's in the boat. You may or may not agree with that. You may think it's a bidding war. You may think it's Ole Miss. Who knows what you think? I believe he is on his way to Tennessee. So I'm going to go ahead and pencil Lance Hurd in at that left tackle position. John Campbell going to move over and play that right tackle position. Now, when you look at the offensive line for me, I think you still need to add a guard. Can Carrick stay healthy? If he's that guy, can he stay healthy the entire year, or are you going to have to plug somebody else in there? I think you need to add a guard in the portal. And again, to be determined. But for me, if you get Hurd, that's a home run at the tackle position. Your starting five is going to be good to go. You add in the fact that Nico, his elusiveness, what he gives you, that's a little wild card up the sleeve. I think we're going to see the offense go back to what it was in 2022 versus what it was in 2023. Number 3, wide receiver. You lost Ramel Keaton. The big news, you got Brew McCoy coming back, but you also added Chris Brazel. 6'5". He's listed there on the screen at 6'3", 170. I've seen it as high as 6'5". The guy's just a red zone threat. He's a playmaker. I'm excited. He did it, right? He put the production up. He had the numbers at Tulane. You add him to this wide receiver room. Now all of a sudden you're looking at Brew McCoy. You're looking at Squirrel White. Who starts at that Z position? Who starts opposite of Brew McCoy? Is it going to be Brazel? Is it going to be Dante Thornton, a guy that we saw, start to come along at the outside? You brought him in. You thought he was going to play the slot. You move him to the outside. He seems more comfortable. What happens with Caleb Webb? What happens with Chaz Nimrod? What happens with Nathan Laycock? You talk about how much talent you add in the wide receiver room. You've also got some guys coming in that are freshmen that are pretty dang good when you look at Braylon Staley, when you look at Mike Matthews. You're also trying to go add another 5-star wide receiver scheduled to be in town here in a week, less than a week. This weekend, I don't think you're going to see him added, but you got some talent coming in town this weekend, boys. George McIntyre pulls the trigger later this week. You're going to have a shot. But I think the wide receiver room is going to be just fine. I'm curious to see if somebody transfers out. You move over to the defensive line unit. You're losing Karat Garland, Roman Harrison. Tyler Barron obviously enters the portal, but again, the same as the offensive line, you're bringing back Omari Thomas. You're bringing back Omar Norman-Locke. You're bringing back Elijah Simmons. I think that is huge as we move into 2024. But you look at the transfer portal, again, before we wrap up this video, I've got a visitor that's going to be in town this weekend. As of now, Tennessee not added anybody on the defensive line, but we got a visitor coming in this weekend that plays the defensive line. We're going to get into that in just a second. But again, I think you got it with the defensive line. I think you got to lump in the fact that you brought those 3 guys back, the same as the offensive line. That, to me, is crucial. It's huge as we move in to year 4 of the Josh Heupel era. Obviously, defensive back. Again, the article that Kaner put out written prior to the 7 defensive backs entering the portal. So now definitely a position of need, but you added Jermod McCoy. I think he starts at the corner position opposite of Ricky Gibson. I think those 2 guys are going to be solid at the corner position. I think Andre Turrentine is going to start at safety. Who starts beside him? Who fills in that Jalen McCullough role? Is it going to be Jacoby Thomas that they added via the portal from MTSU? He's a ball hawk. I like his tape, but he played at MTSU. We'll see how he transitions to the next level, stepping up to the big leagues, playing in the SEC. Who locks down that star position? Is it Jordan Thomas? Everybody wants to talk about Boo Carter. What about Jordan Matthews? What about Christian Conyer? You got some young guys. It's a youth movement. But again, how would you grade what Josh Heupel and this coaching staff has done so far via the transfer portal? Holden Stace, top tight end in there. Chris Brazel, however you want to pronounce it. Gold jacket, green jacket. I think he's a solid player. We'll see. Jermod McCoy, that's a big one. I'm excited about him. I think he becomes a playmaker. Also failed to mention Jalen McMurray. I think that's a depth piece at the corner spot. Jacoby Thomas, Miles Kitzelman. How do you grade Josh Heupel and this coaching staff with what they've done? And again, it's not over. It's not over. You've still got, a couple of weeks here that you're going to have some guys, Alabama, Washington, entering the portal. And then you're going to have that spring cycle, which will be interesting to keep an eye on as well. Real quickly, I want to give you guys a visitor that's going to be in town this week visiting from Stanford. He entered the transfer portal. Jackson Moy, I'm going to say, 6'2", 303 pounds. Again, going to be in town. He visited Arizona earlier this month. He arrived in Washington for a visit as Kalen DeBoer was announcing to his team that he was off to Alabama. That's got to be a little awkward. You're in town. You're on a visit. You're thinking, hey, man, these guys were just in the national championship. Maybe I can come here. Maybe I can contribute. Oh, by the way, the coach is off to Alabama. I'm going to go ahead and jump on the plane and go back home. You can look at what he's done. He's got 3 years to play 2. So 2 years of eligibility left. He can do that in 3 if he does redshirt. But you look at the numbers, you look at what he's done in 2022. He played in 12 games, made 1 start at defensive tackle, had 22 tackles, 8 solo, 14 assisted, finished 5th on the team with 4.5 tackles for loss. Also had a half of a sack and a quarterback hurry, as well as 2 pass breakups. That was as a freshman in 2022. This season, 2023, as a sophomore, played in 13 games, started 7 of those, had 15 tackles, a half a sack, 2 quarterback hurries, and a pass breakup. But when we talk about the defensive tackle position, it's not always about stats and numbers and flash and you know all the stats and stuff that you see out there. He graded out as Stanford's 2nd best defensive lineman according to Pro Football Focus in 2023. We know Rodney Gardner wants to rotate a lot of guys, wants to play a lot of bodies. I'm excited about what is on that defensive line coming into 2024. Already rattled off the names, but James Pierce and Tyree West holding down the ends. Man, you know, I think Tyree West really started to come on in that bowl game. Obviously, we know what we've got in James Pierce. You guys better watch and enjoy James Pierce in 2024 because he's going to be off to the NFL. This is it. He'll be gone. You better enjoy it. You better drink it in. On the inside, Omar Norman Lott, Omari Thomas, again, Elijah Simmons, getting those guys back, absolutely huge. But I think Jackson Moy adds some depth there on the defensive line. Quick little update, not a whole lot going on right now. Just wanted to make a video and kind of grade where this thing's at in the transfer portal as we head into the middle of January. Man, it comes at you quick. We're going to be diving into the class of 2025 recruiting. I'm expecting any time now they're going to let you know when George McIntyre is going to make his commitment. We're going to cover it live right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. You guys do me a favor, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Jump in the comment section. I want you guys to grade what Josh Heupel has done thus far via the transfer portal. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Also, go check out the merchandise. Got a brand new shirt, man. The Chosen One with that 8-ball. Nico is the Chosen One. You can go check out that merch. Bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. That link is also below this video. Shout out to the members of the channel. You guys are what keep the light bill paid around here. Couldn't do it without you. You want to support the channel financially, hit the join button. You can do that for $1 a month. But if not, that's fine. Smash the thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy. Jump into the comment section. Let's talk about it because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.